Hi friends, Suzanne here. Welcome to another Wildcard Wednesday video on my YouTube channel and blog. For today's card, I am featuring the stamp set and dies called Merry and Bright. I also have a die cut from the Nested Essential Dies. I'm using the Christmas Tidings embossing folder. My ink here is going to be Poppy Parade for the sentiment. And I'm going to be using the watercolor pencils, assortment 1 and 2, along with my aqua painter and some Wink of Stella, surprise, surprise, some glue, and that's pretty much it. So let's get into the card. To begin, I have basic white card here. I'm inking up with Poppy Parade, the sentiment that says Merry and Bright, just on a scrap piece of basic white here. I have pre-die cut the 2 bulbs, the bulb caps, the bulb filament, and a string of bulbs. Lights, Christmas lights, I'm using the Stampin Up Fluid 100 watercolor cardstock, and I'm going to be using the watercolor painter or watercolors assortment 1 and 2. I also have adhesive strips on the back side of the Merry and the Bright that I just cut out, and that is the Nested Essential Dies, the smallest rectangle. So I'm adhering my Merry and Bright sentiment and then putting that aside. All right, so like I said, I die cut the bulbs from this Fluid 100 paper. This is my aqua painter. I've heavily scribbled on my Granny Apple green, and I am going to watercolor my bulbs. So these bulbs they've not a lot of water on them. All the water is I'm trying to get a drop out of my aqua painter. Sometimes my aqua painter, especially this one, does not like giving water droplets. So I have to squeeze quite hard. But so how it works is if you are a little bit have a drier brush, you're going to put on the color a little deeper. So as you can see, I'm sort of saturating one side, and then I ended up wanting a thicker coat. So I go in with my pencil, and I am trying to get sort of one side a little bit more shaded. And you can see it's doing a lovely job there, almost too much. So I have to go in quickly with my aqua painter and try to blend that out. And don't worry if you're doing something like this, because I have a little hack to help it not be obnoxiously colored. So I'm going to move on to my string of colors or string of bulbs. I'm just painting with the Granny Apple green here randomly, because I think that looks kind of more real. This is, I think, from assortment 1, I don't know, the smaller assortment, Coastal Cabana. Here I'm trying to squeeze water to sort of clean my aqua painter brush. Doesn't really, as soon as I do have a baby wipe handy, and I am using this lovely silicone mat that I got recently. It comes with the the glass mat. This is a fun little thing, I tell you. You can mix paint on it. It's great. I have given up using my glass mat for videos until I get a diffuser for my light. It's on order from Amazon. Don't know when I'll get it. So anyway, this is Real Red. So we've got Coastal Cabana, Real Red, and Granny Apple Green for the lights. I end up using Garden Green for the string light, and then I think I use black for the bulb caps and Daffodil Delight for the filament. So I am just coloring very simply this string of light, and then I'm going to move it. I'm going to do this one real red. So funnily enough, when real red is mixed a little bit with water, it kind of has that same tomatoey red that Poppy Parade has. So that worked out delightfully. I wouldn't use cherry cobbler because the papers that I'm going to be using are from the Merry and Bright designer series paper, and the main red color is Poppy Parade. So here I'm going to show you another technique in order to get a little heavier color. I'm doing brush to tip, and I'm just sort of saturating that tip, getting a little bit more water. This was probably the smarter way to do it instead of coloring on your watercolor painter or paper. But you will see in the stills at the end, both bulbs look perfectly fine, even though that green one is a little kind of crazy. So here's the garden green. And I ended up having to sort of do this once and then set it aside, and then coming back with, a lot of paint or watercolor on my paintbrush because it came out pretty light. And that is the nature of watercolor, right? So, and I'm using it sort of a little bit more painterly. I've always said this, I fancy myself an artist, even though you've probably seen my drawings on my alternative paper pumpkin, and we know that I am lying. That is not true. I am not an artist. But I do fancy myself one. I like to use all the techniques. So there's a little hump between the light bulb and the wire that calls for a little bit of dark, And then here I'm just painting a little bit of that black onto my bulb caps here, the large bulb caps. Again, and here's the filament, and this is Daffodil Delight, added with a little bit of water. Again, struggling to get it out of my aqua painter. Not all aqua painters are the same. There's some that, had very loosey-goosey and the water came out like a fire hydrant. And this one is more like a dehydrated one. It doesn't like to give up its water. All right, moving on to the build. Let's get this together. Again, this is the Christmas Tidings embossing folder, and this piece is 4 by 5 1/4. I'm putting adhesive on the back, and I'm going to adhere it to my base, which is 4 1/4 by 7 1/2, scored at 5 1/2. So it has a little flip on the bottom. So I'm putting my embossed Poppy Parade, and basic white. And then this is the small outside designer series paper. I chose this pattern. It's 1 3/4 inches tall, but 4 inches wide. And then the fa la 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 piece is 2 3/4 wide and 3 3/4 tall. And that flap that I just folded in half is 3 inches wide, 8 inches long, scored at 4 inches to make a little inside card. So we're going to put that fa la 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 piece on the front. Then we're going to sneak it over top of our flappy flap part, the tree flap part. I just sort of opened it and inserted it, and then where I wanted it on the inside and how I wanted it to look, and even on at least the top 3 sides. And I checked Ancestry DNA and Bob's your uncle. Okay, so here is my Wink of Stella. I slathered this card in it. It needed it. I wanted it. And I have refrained for far too long. Christmas present to myself. I'm going to put Wink of Stella on this card. Gotta love it. And I put it on these little bulb cap things and hanger caps, and also on the bulbs. Here's a close-up. I'll show you, and I'm just taking a little bit of Wink Stella over top of those bulbs, sort of reactivating the paint actually, but just making a nice coverage. And yeah, it worked really well. So I had a little accident with my glue, and so it's sort of bubbling like Mount St. Helens there. So I take my take your pick tool and I sort of smear it on the places that I need it. And then I'm going to put those little cap cover hooky things on. And I'm using my tweezers from Stampin' Up. If you don't have these are great. They're very, very good quality, very heavy, do the job well. And they're opposable tweezing. So as you hold it, you don't have to keep tweezing it. And this comes with the Embossing Additions Toolkit. Just thought I'd throw that out there. So I put a little bit of that glue in my little white tray here, and I am going to place my little filament on my bulb, my green bulb, and then my red bulb. And, you know, it's a slippery little sucker. Working with, you know, glue on your hands. And you're trying not to stick to everything. So I just put a little clear block over top of that just to have a little bit of weight on my filament so it sticks well. And this is a kind of a nice way of adhering glue to your project, especially I don't like glue on my fingers. It really bugs me. So putting this on a silicone mat that you can just peel off after it's dry, smart idea. This mat is not for sale. You can only get it right now. Well, you can't get it right now, but it will be for a joining offer with the glass mat. And I told you already that I've given up on that glass mat until for filming until I can figure out the reflections from my ring light. It's off-putting and it bugs me. So, all right, I'm just going to cut that little piece. So that little string goes on the inside. So festive. Oh my God, I love it. And then I'm just taking it to the bottle now, trying to clean the bottle up. Oh my gosh. Glue accident. If it's not my red ink going everywhere, it is glue going everywhere. I tell you, the other day I saw a dimensional adhesive stuck to my cat's back. Like, really? I find them everywhere. All right, so I'm adhering that little extra piece that was unplanned. What a happy accident. I put dimensional adhesive on the back of the greeting. I affixed that to the top front of the card. I had to sort of work it a little bit with the two bulbs where I was going to put those. I ended up finding a lovely place. Again, you guys, you can see all the supplies I used today listed below in the video's See More section or in the supplies section of my blog. And those fast links are going to take you to my Canadian online store where I would love the chance to meet you and earn your business. So I'm adhering my bulbs right up there. It looks so good. Trimming off this little extra piece of whatever, and I literally cannot find it now. It went flying. And then I'm going in. So I know you're going to ask, because everybody asks. It is called, this is a Signo Uniball white pigment ink by the Mitsubishi Pencil Company. I got it off of Amazon. My card stock here, or my Fluid 100, is still a little wet. So I go in, you're going to see in the stills, I go in and thicken that reflection line. But that is my card for today. At least I'm consistent in being a little bit late each and every day this week. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.